All right. Hello, everybody. I am sitting here with Dave Gordon. Dave, welcome to the Fox Den.
Thank you very much.
How are you doing this morning? Where am I catching you at here?
Oh, I'm obviously on the beach in Puerto Plata.
On the beach in Puerto Plata. I love it. And you're so modest, you don't want to show people the view. I love that.
I'm in my home office in Toronto, Canada.
Toronto, Canada. And do me a favor, Dave, for people who don't know, I think you're a big name here in the Jewish community for sure and beyond. But for people who don't know who you are, do us a favor. Tell us, who are you? What do you do for a living? Dave, you're on.
I am a freelance writer and editor. I'm editor of about 20 books, author of 3. I write every week for the National Post, almost every week for Jewish News Syndicate, and regularly for the Washington Examiner. My writing work has appeared in more than 100 publications around the world, such as Montreal Gazette, Toronto Sun, Washington Times, New York Times, uh, and on and on and on. And I obviously edit books. I ghostwrite, and I have a beat these days for the National Post of, I suppose you would call it, the Jewish community slash anti-Semitism slash Israel ecosystem.
Okay, I have to ask you before we get to anything else.
Hmm.
This always comes up, but October 7th has been a pivotal point of sort of crossing the Rubicon, as it were, with the Jewish community. And has your writing or your attitude changed at all post October 7th? Or are you writing the same way, just journalistically, and it hasn't changed you at all? I'm sort of jumping ahead a little bit here in the questions.
Yeah, you went off script, didn't you?
I went off script. I went off script. I'm guilty. We can come back to this question if you want.
No, it's just fine. Uh, I mean, this is a packed answer. So I'll give you 3 kind of big zoom out ideas here. Uh, Number one is that there is a tremendous amount to know and a lot of knowledge required because things are happening at such a fast and intense pace that to be able to consume it all required that much more that much more research on a day-to-day basis as things have been developing quite quickly. The second is obviously, or maybe not. So obviously, I'm Jewish. I'm involved in the community. Uh, it's a close topic to me, and therefore I put more passion into it, more than, let's say, if I were reporting on the local opera house's chandelier changing. It you know I,
Yeah,
I just that would be just an assignment.
yeah,
But this is more than assignment. This affects me, affects the Canadian Jewish community, the Jewish community in Israel and everywhere else for various reasons. And it also, um, because of my Jewish community involvement of the past 25 years, and I've volunteered, I've been part of this organization and that organization. I've been in the Jewish journalism scene for such a long time that I was tapped specifically to be that person for the National Post and for Jewish Syndicate as an asset, predominantly because I knew the people, and I had the network, and I had the background, and I had the knowledge. So that changed. I wasn't at all times, at all parts of my career, the Jewish journalist. I was just the journalist that happened to be Jewish.
Hmm.
And so, whenever it is that I would write for any number of other dozen publications pre October 7th, I would write for whatever news was going on in the world. If it happened to be Israel, if it happened to be anti Semitism, but that's been all consuming ever since mid October 2023. So
Hmm.
that that's been my career and my profession since.
So you sort of fell into that position, and now are you sort of I don't know, pigeonholed in there? Do you
A
feel
very good question. It's a great
that you can
question.
do other things, or you feel like you're almost obliged to speak on that topic now?
Well, I feel owing to what it is that I already know, I almost have an obligation. Uh, I think I would do myself and the community a disservice if I didn't loan my knowledge and my background and my expertise
Yeah.
because I've been doing it for so long. Uh, this is a self pigeonhole. I chose it. I could choose to do anything. I could get a job at a desk doing comms work for some sort of organization, um, and but this is where my passions lie,
Yeah.
and this is where my knowledge base is, and where my community is. And I've spent a considerable amount of time investing in this in these topics. Now, I'll tell you something. I've discovered uh, I've discovered that there are really only two kinds of jobs in the world: the kind of job you look forward to going to, and the kind of job you look forward to leaving.
Hmm.
I've had both. I've had the mindless monkey work, brain deadening work, uh, where I dread going to the office and pray for Friday 5 o'clock. There's enough depression in the world. There's enough disappointment and unhappiness in the world, and I didn't want any more of it because I didn't want to spend my day being miserable. Not to suggest that life is black and white. You can still find fulfillment in a job that you don't like. You find
Yeah.
maybe people in the office that you like, or this or that you can enjoy. But I decided that I wanted to do something that every single day I would jump out of bed and love and thrive and desire and feel real joy and fulfillment. And if I may say so, it's what I do simply isn't meaningful to me, but I derive a lot of joy knowing it is meaningful for other people too.
Yeah. So the meaning that you bring to others ultimately brings you some meaning. Does that
Yeah. Yeah, of
resonate?
course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when people come up to me and say, you know, that article that you wrote, that was great. And I'm like, which one?
Right.
No, but people, I don't, this isn't about the compliments, really. Say, I'm not the first person to say this, but I don't let, I don't let compliments get to my head or criticism get to my heart. Uh, but it certainly helps to know that people appreciate what I do.
So let me ask you this. I'm going back to a little bit of the script here because when you were 18 years old, this is what I was going to ask you in the beginning. This is how I start off. When you were 18, did you think you were going to be a journalist, a writer?
Nope.
And if not, what did you want to do and what changed?
When I was 18 years old, actually more like into my 20s, I was clueless. Didn't really know what the. In fact, I spent a little bit more time in high school and a little bit more time in university because I didn't know what I wanted to do or what I wanted to take or where I wanted to go.
Can you tell us which where did you go to high school and where did you go to university?
I went to high school. It's now defunct. It's in the Bathurst and Wilson area. It's called Sir Sandford Fleming Secondary School. And then I went to York
Oh,
and
did they
took.
close that? They closed that down?
Yeah, well, they renamed it. It's now a Catholic school.
Oh, interesting.
And I went to York and I took a major of English literature and a minor of religious studies. Who would have known that, in a way, my profession would intersect very much in that regard?
Absolutely.
But sometime in university, I thought, maybe I'll just be a teacher. I like English literature. See what happens. And so I applied to Teachers College, and I got a rejection letter. Now, that didn't really mean that I couldn't apply in other places. I was just a little crushed. And then I discovered that a whole bunch of my friends had applied to apply for a master's of English, and I also did, and I was also rejected, and I was
Oh
crushed.
dear. Oh dear. Lots of
Yeah,
rejection there. Oh,
yeah, it was rejected. Well, it's a sign of things to come because when you pitch stories, you hear a lot of no's in life.
yeah.
That just got me used to hearing no. That and asking a lot of girls out just got me used to getting no's. Despite the fact that people think I'm a Casanova, I heard a lot of no's. And anyway, I didn't know what to do, so I defaulted on something that I really enjoyed, and that was I loved writing. You know, when I was a kid, I had these notebooks filled with stories about science fiction. They're very rudimentary, but I would draw planets and draw aliens and come up with these stories when I was a kid, and that lasted for quite some time. In fact, I might even still have some of those notebooks on my shelf from when I was a kid. Relatives would see this, and they knew exactly what to get me for birthdays. They would get me pen and pad sets, and that just encouraged me even more. I began writing for the York University paper called the Excalibur. I began writing for the Canadian Jewish News. I thought I know about Jews. I like writing. And one thing happened that lit me up. I get paid, and I liked it. And I thought, you get paid to do this? And I just more and more and more, and I tapped into that fire that I liked so much. I like to tell the stories. I like to share what I think. When I present my articles to people is it's like a global chavruta. For those who aren't familiar with the term, it's a learning partner. I
Hmm.
learn from the world, and I give that learning back. And sometimes people will give back to me, and they'll tell me what they think about the article, and I like it. For better, for worse, sometimes the criticism means more to me than the actual feedback and praise. Anyway, you asked me when I was young, so that snowballed. It just kind of got a whole lot more involved with my writing, and I started a quarterly Jewish newspaper for young people called Afterword because I wanted to get more experience, and I knew about the Jewish world, so I wrote about it. Oh, I'm sorry. Prior to that, I had been an editor for a campus publication called Images. It was through the Jewish Center on campus. And then I saw my calling, and I eventually got work in newsrooms. I started to freelance even more, and here we are.
And here we are, and you haven't looked back.
No, I had more hair then, so I'm not looking back.
You've interviewed some really famous people. I just want to give over a few names of people that may have heard of: Ben Shapiro, Joe Clark, former Prime Minister of Canada,
You
Rudy
you found Joe
Giuliani.
Clark after Ben Shapiro? You're, of all the people, Joe Clark was prime minister for like 6 months. And I must have interviewed 200 famous people, and you're all like, Joe Clark.
Okay, Rudy Giuliani, Elie Wiesel, Dan
Yeah,
Aykroyd. I want
yeah.
to just give a few more names: Paul Martin, another Prime Minister, Rick Moranis, Shia LaBeouf, Gene Simmons, two other Prime Ministers: John Turner, Kim Campbell, Shmuley Boteach, Alan Dershowitz. The list really goes on and on. John McCain, Mitt Romney, Mattis Yahoo. I can go on. Kenny Rogers. I can go on. This is a really, really impressive list, Dave.
Thanks.
I was expecting you to have a different reaction there than a thanks. Who? Let me. I mean, I guess the obvious question is, what was your favorite interview, and what did that look like? Were you? Which was your favorite one, or you maybe you have more than one favorite?
Hmm.
Is that a tough? That's a toughie.
You know, if I'm going to say a favorite, I'm going to say stand out more than favorite.
Sure,
I'm going to
anything.
change the question a little bit. This is
Change the
stand out.
question.
This is stand out.
Standout. Yeah. Who's outstanding? There you go.
Yeah. Story goes, could it have been, I don't know, 10 years ago? I applied for a job at a real estate coaching company to do some writing and comms work. I'm sitting across from I guess you could call it the one of the bosses. I don't know what her title was. And we had a great rapport. At the end of the interview, she says, Dave, I'm amazed. You seemed very calm. And in interview situations, people are even just a little bit nervous. How is it that you're just so grounded and so calm? And I said, I don't know. It could very well be that every hour of the day I take a 5-minute tea break, and it's just like it's a breathe break. And she says to me, her name's Sue, you know what calms me? And I'm like, I have no idea. She says, Kenny Rogers. And I'm holding back my laughter. I am serious. I'm thinking, I actually thought she was telling me a joke, but she was dead serious. She says, I love Kenny Rogers. He's my favorite. He's my idol. He's my everything. And I thought, well, okay, great. That's okay. I leave the interview and I'm wondering, how did I do? Did I knock her socks off? I could be one of any number of people applying for this job, and I don't know how I did. I think my resume was okay, but I don't know what anybody else's resume looked like or how they did in the interview. So I'm driving home, and I start to think, what could I do to impress this lady, to really get her attention? And I had this wacky idea, because my motto in life is it costs nothing to ask, is I did a Google for Kenny Rogers publicist. And I cold called her. And I said, "You don't know me from Adam. I'm just some schlub in Toronto desperately looking for a job because I'm unemployed and I need the work." And I filled her in on a little bit of the situation. And I said, "I know you probably get 1,000 calls like this, but I was wondering, do you think you might be able to send my friend Sue an autographed 8x10? Because I really, really want to impress her. I'll pay for the overnight courier. I just really want to be able to show her that I really, 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 really want this job." And so she says, "Let me see what I can do."
Okay.
And to my ears, it sounded like every time I asked a girl out where she said, you know, "I'll think about it." It was that kind of, it sounded like that kind of no. So I hung up and I'm like, whatever. 11:45 a.m. the next morning, I get a call from Kenny Rogers' publicist. And she says, "Dave, are you going to be around in 15 minutes?" And I said, "Yeah." She says, "You have the ability to record a phone call?" "Yes, I'm a journalist. I have that capability." "Well, Kenny's going to call you in about 15 minutes. Kenny's going to record a special message for your friend Sue. He wants you to get that job. So you stand by and you tell him what you need and record that message for you." Kenny effing Rogers calls me 15 minutes later,
Oh my God.
and I still have that recording. He says something like, he goes, "Hello, Sue. I was told by Dave that you're a really big fan. I just want to say I really appreciate that, and I hope to meet you someday." Boom, I send that MP3 off to Sue. Sue sends me an email with exclamation marks. I was hired. I was hired. Now, I'm still on the phone with Kenny Rogers, and I had to seize the moment. And I said, "You know, Kenny, it's not often that I have this magical moment with a celebrity. Can we just chat for about 15 minutes or so, and I could get an interview and make a little side hustle out of selling the article?" He's like, "Yeah, whatever you need, Dave." The guy's 80 years old. I'm sure he wants to spend time with his kids. And we're chatting on the phone, and I sell the story 5 times. The biggest one was for British Broadcasting Corporation. You can look this up. That article from BBC News. Amazingly, BBC News wanted me to interview him a second time. A second time. So I get back in touch, and he picks up the phone a second time, and the first thing he says is, "You know, Dave, since the last time we spoke, I've been reading your stuff, and I like your writing."
That's unbelievable. That is unbelievable. So that's the best story you have of all the
Among the
so he,
best.
among the best. So he sounds like a
He was a
very nice
mensch.
man.
He was such a mensch.
Yeah.
And I would never have thought.
Yeah. Well, I do agree. You do seem very even keeled as a person and very thoughtful. And I guess that comes through when you're sitting there doing your writing. You have to be very focused, very centered. And you do seem quite centered. And you said it's the tea, these tea breaks that do it for you, or is it prayer, or is it, do you do like mindful meditation? How,
I
not
do. I
everyone is
do.
as even
I,
keeled as you are. Like for example, I wouldn't say that I'm the most even keeled person, but you seem like nothing's gonna phase Dave Gordon.
for a while I did do meditation. Actually, I did Buddhist meditation every day for half an hour for many years. And I also had done power walks. I'm told that power walking releases, I think the chemical is endorphins, I think. Anyway, it's the happy chemical. And so if you're feeling blah, you go out for a walk and the brain releases those chemicals. And I take, I guess you could call it a tea Shabbat. Every hour, I step away from the desk, I step away from the pressure, pour myself a cup of tea, sip it for a few minutes, and then get back to focus. So I think that's but I don't know.
Right. By the way, as we're talking here, I found this looks like the article that we were just talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny Rogers prepares to hang up his microphone
Mm-hmm.
by Dave Gordon. There it is. There it
Mm-hmm.
is. Um, and there he is with Dolly Parton. And
He passed away like a year later.
oh, did he?
Yeah, yeah.
Married,
It's year.
married 5 times. Wow. Okay.
Now I want to tell you something. Anybody who criticizes that,
What
I
the married 5 times thing?
no, I think that's beautiful. I think that is beautiful. You know why? Because
Why is that?
because it says he understood the importance of the institution of marriage. He wanted commitment. Okay, and as a celebrity, I'm sure that he could have gotten anybody he wanted to at any time, but
Yeah.
he wanted commitment, and I salute him.
Well, fair enough. So you don't look down on him
No,
for that at all.
sometimes things don't work. In the
Yep.
celebrity world, you can't expect much. But to all those people who get married several times over, I say, good for you. It means you're serious.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. And just before I let you go here, a lot of my audience are young people, either still in school or just finished school, and they're trying to get their head on straight. Do you have any parting words of
Have
wisdom
any
or advice?
partying words?
Any partying words? You should have been a stand-up, Dave. You should have been a stand-up. But do you have any parting words of wisdom for young people who are starting their careers? What would you tell those young people just starting out?
Hmm. I I mentioned before there are really only two kinds of jobs, so you should keep that in mind. You should keep in mind it costs nothing to ask. You should keep in mind that that time is precious. Try not to mess around too much. Have your partying. There you go. Took it back to partying. Get it out of
Good
your system.
roots.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Get it out of your system, and then grow up.
Yeah.
Predominantly because uh, you want to be able to put your high school and university life as a different chapter and find your way and find your voice. And if it takes asking mentors to help you, then find mentors. It's not easy, but there's a phrase in journalism called second pair of eyes, or SPOE, second pair of eyes. Maybe look or ask for a second pair of ears, somebody with whom you trust. Ask for their advice. It's good in life to be able to figure things out from other people. Going at it on your own is just fine if you completely know what you want. But if you don't, see if other people can offer that advice to you.
Oh, okay. So SPOE. I've never heard that one before.
Second pair of eyes or second pair of ears.
It works both ways. Yeah. SPOE.
SPO.
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 Use the SPO.
Use the
Well, this.
SPO.
Okay. Well, listen, Dave. This has been a very a huge pleasure talking with you. I feel calmer. I think I need to speak with you outside of the podcast
I'll
just to
share. I'll
kind of
share my tea with you.
share. I would love to share a tea with you and
I'll
just
deliver a little
relax.
baggie of tea.
Little
And
baggie of tea.
if you get a little dizzy, then you know what's in it.
I'll know that's maybe Dave spiked it. But really, it's been a pleasure. You're doing great work in the community. You're elucidating a lot of points for people, and people really respect you. So
I hope
uh,
so.
I, I think your impact maybe is even greater than you know, and that's the whole thing. Even as a teacher, we don't know our impact. We can't always see that. We have blinders on sometimes, but I think you're making a huge impact, and I really appreciate your time this morning.
Well, thank you. I do appreciate your time and reaching out. One thing that I want to say about what you do is that you took action and you put something together and you organized the podcast, and you're doing the very thing that I suggested, getting a second pair of ears and second pair of eyes and learning from other people. It's very important in life to find the world as your chavrusa.
100%. And I go back to the Pirkei Avot, the ethics of our fathers often, and say, who is wise? He who learns from every person. And
My
that's what
favorite
I'm
book of
trying
all
to do.
time. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I'm
my
trying. I'm
favorite book.
trying to learn from. It doesn't matter who you learn from, but the point is to learn from those other people, and this is sort of a repository of knowledge. So I hope other people are benefiting as well. So once again, Dave, thanks again. I'll let you get back to your. Yeah,
Thank
go
you.
ahead.
Just one more thing.
Yeah, please.
If you can subscribe to the National Post, please do.
Oh yes, let's plug it. Please, anyone watching out there, if you've made it this far, please subscribe to the National Post and make sure you read Dave Gordon's articles and opinion pieces. He's the best. All right, Dave. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much. Bye
Thank
bye.
you.